Welcome. Today I'm joined by composer Jake Safirstein. The Metropolitan Youth Symphony premiered Jake's Tongue Poem Number 1, Orpheus and Eurydice, back in November of 2018, and I'm excited to chat with Jake. Jake, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm great. It's good to see you.
Yeah, I'm
So,
so glad to be here.
we played your piece in 2018, and I believe that was the beginning of your senior year at Interlochen. Is that right?
Yep, that's correct.
Yes. And where did you spend the last year that ended with the pandemic shutdown?
I've been in New York City actually at the Juilliard School studying music composition.
Yes, and this was
Yeah.
your freshman year that just ended.
Yep,
What a
yeah, it
year
was.
to have.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely full of ups and downs. And we were all pretty bummed, as was everyone, to be sent home early, but
Yes.
we're looking forward to moving on and figuring out how to continue to create music and play together and establish our community. And
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Now, back in 2018, we played this piece, and you conducted, by the way, and
Hmm.
you did that very well. And this piece was a commission through the Authentic Voice, which is a partnership
Hmm.
between the Metropolitan Youth Symphony and Fear No Music's Young Composers Project. So, will you talk
Hmm.
briefly about YCP and your involvement in it?
Yeah, so through that, we had a number of uh, workshop sessions and reading sessions, and you effectively bring in a piece, and the live musicians play it and comment on it and give you further instruction on what might be good and what might be bad. I actually misinterpreted the rules, and I thought every workshop was bring in a new completed piece. So it ended up being a little different for me, but I eventually got on board and figured it out. um, but yeah, it was just a phenomenal experience. And through that, I was able to meet a number of Portland-based musicians and composers my age, which was a really special thing. I think it's really easy for someone my age or someone in high school who wants to study composition to feel like it's not possible because it's schools aren't really teaching it. I mean, how could they really? And it's just an odd concept, but establishing a community of people was really incredible, and I still maintain contact with a few of them today, and it's
Sure.
it's a really special thing. Yeah.
Sure. You were asked to create a piece for full orchestra,
Hmm.
which you know is something that's very exciting to do, and to have
Yeah.
a piece performed by a full orchestra is sometimes something that's not very easily accessible for many composers.
Hmm.
So, did you, when you were asked to do this, did you know right away you wanted to write a tone poem by the title of Orpheus and Eurydice?
I was sort of actually in a bit of a shock for a bit because I mean it's something that most composers, especially of the high school age, can only really dream of. Um, and so I had for a long time no idea what I wanted to do. Um, but I have consistently found myself enjoying music that is programmatic, meaning that follows a program or that tells a story or something like that. So I knew that I wanted to go into that direction, and I slowly, with the help of Kenji and other people and just studying a bunch, I found this story that I really loved, and I decided that I would like to put it to music.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how was your process, your actual writing process? Did you sketch out the whole thing? Did you have little themes and ideas?
Yeah, I went at it from the stance. There's a Wagnerian technique called leitmotifs that I'm sure you know, which is essentially he put a musical motif to represent a character or an idea or something. And so I decided to kind of go off that, and I ended up, if you're unfamiliar with the story, it's very dark and depressing. But I ended up writing a few motivic ideas that could represent key elements. And then from there, it was just sort of honestly placing them and altering them depending on what was going on in the story and whatever else. So,
Did you
yeah.
have specific sounds or specific instruments associated with those leitmotifs going into the
Not
process?
not always. There was certainly sometimes there's uh, a few references to other pieces that I really love in there that I knew I kind of wanted to throw in. But I found a lot of joy in taking a motif, whether it's their love theme, and depending on what was happening in the story, placing it in a different part of the orchestra, whether really low to symbolize something or really high to symbolize something else. Um, so it never really was latched to anything, which I think
Sure.
was made it really free and open for me.
Yeah. And you know,
Mhm.
I'm sure you know this, but the orchestra really enjoyed playing your
Mhm.
piece, and
Yeah.
we liked it so much that we took it on tour to Italy and
Yeah.
Austria in
Yeah.
the summer of 2019, and it was also very
Yeah.
well received. In addition to writing the piece, you got to conduct it,
Hmm.
right? So, how was the process for you preparing for that and then actually coming to rehearsals, conducting the orchestra, shaping the music, right?
Yeah. So I had a lot of concepts in my head for how I wanted to go, how I wanted the piece to go, obviously, as I wrote it. But hearing that I was able to actually, I would be able to conduct it, that I could have that honor. I went to, I was at Interlochen at the time, and I went to my conducting teacher there. And I had previously studied conducting in Portland as well. But I went to my conducting teacher at Interlochen, and we just essentially looked at the piece in a really different way, which was from the standpoint of a conductor, which was really amazing for me because I essentially found myself reanalyzing my music from a different standpoint, and it was
Yeah.
really special. And I just felt kind of the urge to convey with my whole body, my heart, my mind, and my soul just that musical picture as best as I possibly could. And I hope I did a good job. But yeah, it was really a privilege to be able to do that.
And if I remember correctly, didn't you fly in like the Friday
Yeah,
and then you had rehearsal Saturday? It's just one, everything was in one
it
weekend
was
basically.
it was really close. That was November, and I was applying to colleges at that point too. So it was a whirlwind. Um, I think I played a concert at Interlaken like 2 days prior, and then hopped on a plane, came right home, went immediately to a rehearsal, and it was, I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better orchestra, a better experience. It was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it was very fun, and I certainly enjoyed learning the piece and in you know
Yeah,
rehearsing it before you got there and helping the orchestra learn it
yeah.
as well. Were you able to send that as part of your application packet to schools?
It was very stressful. Because, mixing, editing, all of that stuff, I think there's sort of there's a little bonus with me being able to conduct the piece. I kind of wanted to send the video to
Yeah, yeah.
to schools, and so it was down to the last minute basically, and I finally got the video and sent it all out and around, and uh, it helped immensely. I mean, it's an amazing thing to have on my resume. I think um, it again, it's just such a privilege to be able to give an orchestra that feeling from me and hear them take that feeling and add their own individual love and care to it and send it out to an audience.
Yeah.
And I think my college application period went very well, and I think that's a big reason why was just that feeling. And it's very clear from the video how much everyone loves it, and I think it's really, really special.
Yeah. Jake, thank you for taking the time to chat with me, and we are excited to share with our viewers the performance video of your piece with you conducting.
Yeah, thanks so much, Raul.